Hi, I'm Jillian, and this is my video for video hardware and recording. For my video, I'm going to be talking about exposure and the exposure triangle in photography and videography, and for my artistic component, I'll be showing pictures I've taken on film and analyzing them in the context of exposure. So what is exposure? The term exposure comes from film photography and videography, but it is still used today despite the fact that most cameras are not actually film anymore. The term exposure refers to the amount of light that the film is exposed to when a photograph or video is taken. When a photo is overexposed, it means that too much light was let in, and when a photo is underexposed, it means that not enough light was let in. There are three elements used to control exposure. They are ISO, shutter speed, and aperture. This can be visualized by the exposure triangle. This is the exposure triangle. It shows how ISO, shutter speed, and aperture can be manipulated to affect exposure. So what do these terms mean? ISO refers to light sensitivity. It is a standard set by the International Standards Organization, hence the acronym. When you are purchasing film, the number of the film refers to the ISO. Most film that amateurs buy range from a 100 to a 400 ISO. This range contains relatively low to moderate ISOs, making the film well suited for regular everyday photography. The lower the ISO, the less sensitivity, so a 100 or 200 ISO film would be the best for outdoor photography, and the higher, the better for indoor. Shutter speed refers to how long the shutter is open when a photo or video is taken. When a shutter is open for longer, more light is let in. This is ideal for darker environments because the subject of the photo will require more light in order to be visible in the final product. However, if the subject is moving, a longer shutter speed will result in a blurrier photo, which can be cool if desired, but frustrating if not desired. A photo with a lower shutter speed will also easily be overexposed if the shutter is open for too long. And lastly, aperture refers to the opening of a lens diaphragm through which light passes. When we talk about aperture, we are usually referring to the degree to which a photo's background is blurred. However, because aperture is controlled by size of the opening of the lens, it also impacts how much light is let into the film, impacting the exposure. So now for my artistic application. I'm going to show some pictures that I've taken on my own film cameras, and I'm going to analyze them in the context to which how they were exposed. Alright, so all of these pictures were taken on a Nikon L35AF point-and-shoot film camera with Kodak Gold ISO 200 film. I put this first picture in here because it is clearly overexposed. It was taken on a very bright day and too much light was definitely let into the camera. This picture I included in here because it was taken from the inside of a helicopter on a very sunny day. So the inside of the helicopter, those subjects are very underexposed, but because of that, the outside, where the sun is reflecting on the water very brightly, is more visible than it would have been had the entire picture been exposed a little bit more. This is another picture with a similar circumstance where my friends in the picture are a little underexposed, but the water in the background and the sky is a little overexposed. However, it kind of balances out because had the picture been less exposed, the subjects, my friends, wouldn't have been visible, and had the picture been more exposed and my friends were visible, then the water and the sky would have been too overexposed. And lastly, these last two pictures were taken in the same place at the same time. However, they were exposed different amounts. This one is the less exposed picture, and I think it turned out better because the lack of exposure allowed for the colors of the lights to be more visible, and it also allowed for the sunset to be more vibrant. This picture, however, was exposed for longer, which made it so that the colors of the lights were less visible, the sunset was less vibrant, and the picture itself is also blurrier because the shutter was open for longer. So while they're both not great pictures, I think the underexposed version is actually the better picture out of these two.